Hare Krishna, Anand Pranam. Hare Krishna. So, most welcome. Um, we'll begin with chapter 2 today, and the result for the exams we'll discuss post Karthik, which means next week. Um, but we'll begin with chapter 2 today. So, okay. So, chapter 1, we dealt with Sangyas and Sandhis. Moving ahead, so this is chapter 2. So, Nama Vishnupada Prakaranam, the name, which means the noun declension. Okay. Now, um, so so there are two kinds of words. Okay. Anyhow, no need for introduction. So this chapter simply deals with the nouns, like the names, even the pronouns. Um, so the names, sangya, the nouns, and the pronouns, nouns and pronouns, naam and sarvanam, as they say in general, like in Hindi or Sanskrit. So yes, like in English, if we want to say Krishna is going, right? Krishna is going. Then Sanskrit will say it like Krishna gachati. Okay. So Krishna, the subject Krishna comes like this. Krishna with this ending. Now, if I want to say I am Krishna is eating fruit. Krishna is eating fruit. So I'll say Krishna phalam khadati. So here phalam. So here Krishna was the subject, the doer. Here Krishna, of course, is the doer, the subject, but the object is phalam. What is being eaten? Phalam. So the ending looks something like this. Then let's say Krishna hastena phalam khadati. Krishna is eating fruit with his hand, with the help of his hand. So we know Krishna, the subject, phalam, the object. Now hastena is the instrument which helps Krishna in accomplishing the act of eating. So the ending comes like this. You know? Similarly, like in English, we are saying Krishna is eating with his hand, with hand, with hand. But in Sanskrit, those prepositions like with, of, at, they are mixed or they are like interlinked within the word, within that noun. You see, like in Hindi also, we use Krishna ka, apne haath, dwara. In English, we say with hand of Krishna at in Vrindavan, at Vrindavan. from this. We use those prepositions both in English, in Hindi, and so on. In Bangla, we say, like, yeah, most of the languages we use those prepositions. But in Sanskrit, the meaning of those prepositions are inherited in the noun itself. So hastena, just saying hastena means with hand, by the help of hand. Similarly, let's say Krishna Brahmanaya Phalam Dadati. Krishna is giving fruit unto the Brahmana, unto the Brahmana or to the Brahmana, whatever, right? So Brahmana becomes the recipient. So in English we say to the Brahmana, unto the Brahmana, but in Sanskrit we just say Brahmanaya. So Brahmanaya also signifies or also denotes the person, the Brahmana, and it also denotes the preposition like unto, to. I hope you're getting what is being said. Similarly, so like this, so these, like, these nouns, along with the inherited prepositions, the usage, so they are uh, seven in number, seven, and they are called vibhaktis. So there are seven vibhaktis. They are called vibhaktis. So, like the Prathama vibhakti, Dvitiya vibhakti, and so on. So as we move ahead, we'll understand more about this subject. So yeah, so first of all, uh, hmm. So first of all, we have the Prathama Prathama Vibhakti, we have the Vitiya Vibhakti, we have Tritiya Vitiya Vibhakti, then Chaturthi, then Panchami, then Shashti, and then Saptami. Now, Dvitiya stands for, sorry, Prathama stands for mm, the subject. It denotes the subject, the doer. Dvitiya for the object. Tritiya for instrument. Chaturthi for, it's called dative, basically denotes the recipient of the action. Panchami denotes the source of the action. Shashti denotes the relationship, possessiveness. Saptami the location, and so on. And also there is also the eighth one, which is called Sambodhana, like an address, vocative address, like calling someone. And then now there are like Ekvachana, Vivachana, the singular, dual, and the plural. So like that. Now we'll study more about this as we move ahead. So let's move ahead. So Nama Vishnu Pada Prakaranam, the noun declension. Nouns means the names, the pronouns, and so on. What do you mean by declension? So in Sanskrit, we have to first make words, get the final form, and then we can use it in the sentences. So there are two kinds of final words. One are the nouns, one are the verbs. So we are dealing with the nouns in this chapter. So we take the root word and we add suffixes with them, with the root word, and then we get the final word. Let's move ahead. Sarveshwaranta Purushottamika. Adhatu Vishnu Bhaktikam Arthavan Nama. Any word that has meaning except for dhatus and Vishnu Bhaktis is called Nama. I'll explain this ahead. Prakriti Purva Pratyayah Paraha. The first part of a Vishnu Pada is called the Prakriti. The second part of a Vishnu Pada is called the Pratyaya. So remember these two parts, these two terms, Prakriti and Pratyaya. Prakriti, Pratyaya. So Prakriti plus Pratyaya is equal to the Vishnu Pada. Now Prakriti means the root word, the root of the stem word, and Pratyaya is the suffix. And Vishnu Pada simply means that after we apply the suffix with the root word, with the Prakriti, when we apply Pratyaya to Prakriti, then the final form we get, that is called Vishnu Pada. It's just Krishnized, the term by Jiva Goswami. So the final word is called Vishnu Pada. So this process of adding the suffix to the root word and achieving the final word, the Vishnu Pada, this process is called as declension or derivation also, they say, derivation or declension. So declension of nouns, noun declension. So this chapter deals with it. We'll look at different Prakriti, the root words, and we'll add suffixes, different suffixes, and we'll attain the final Vishnu Padas. Now this
quick question. How would you say, like, for that's like Jiva Goswami explained it in that way, but how would you say Prakriti and Pratyaya and Vishnu Pada, like, for any other Sanskrit person,
yeah, like in
following
Panini or in other grammars, Vishnu Pada is simply called Padam.
Padam.
Yeah, it's simply called Padam. Subanta Tingantam Padam Vakyam. There is also that sentence that only a Padam, which is either Subanta or Tinganta, can be used in a Vakya. Basically, a final word, which is a Pada, can only be used in a sentence in Sanskrit if a word is not Subant, a proper noun, a proper declined verb, it can't be used in. So basically, we can't use a Prakriti in a sentence in Sanskrit. That's so Padam. Vishnu Pada is called Padam. Pratyaya is Pratyaya. Okay, now Pratyaya is called Pratyaya, but here they are also called Vibhaktis, the Pratyayas. And in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam, Vibhakti has been called Vishnu Bhakti. So Vibhakti and Pratyaya are synonyms which are also used elsewhere, but Vishnu Bhakti is used in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam. Prakriti is a simple term which is used elsewhere also. Prakriti or Pratipadikam. Pratipadikam is a very common word which they use for the Prakriti. Pratipadikam. And Vishnu Pada is the Padam. Okay. Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just asking because when I was using the app, it was like terminology I wasn't familiar with, and so I just like to know the.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
that's
good. Okay, Prakriti is of two kinds. There is the nominal root, like the nominal, which is nominal stands for the nouns. The nominal stem root word, and there is the verbal stem. For example, like let's say Rama, just Rama. This what I have written. This is not a final word. This is a root word. This is Prakriti. We have to add different suffixes with this Rama, and then we'll get different words like Ramaha, Ramam, Ramena, Ramaya, Ramat, whatever, ityadi, Rame. So this is the nominal root example for that, and the second example for verbal stem could be, let's say, Pat, Pat. So from this is verbal stem. From this we get like Patati, Patata, Patanti, or Patishyati, Pathat. So Pat means to study. So this is verbal stem. We add different suffixes with it, the verbal suffixes, and we get different, the final words. Okay, so two kinds of prakritis and four kinds of pratyayas. Four kinds of pratyayas are there. First of all, we have the swadi pratyayas. Swadi pratyayas. Second, we have the tibadis. Third, we have the krit pratyayas, and then we have the dhit pratyayas. Now, swadi pratyayas will deal with in this very chapter. They are 21 in number, 21 pratyaya suffixes. So I'll just show you an example. Like Krishna is the root word, and we add one of the pratyayas from there, that is Su. So by some applications, some rules, we get the final word, which will be Krishna. Now, so Krishna here, this one is the Prakriti, Pratipadikam. This Su is the Vibhakti, the Pratyaya. By adding this Su, the Pratyaya with the root word Krishna, we achieve this final declined word, the Vishnu Padam, which is Krishna. Now, an example for the second one, which is Tibadis. Let's say Pad, and we apply one Pratyaya from. So, Tibadi Pratyayas are the verbal suffixes, which are 118 number, and these are called the nominal suffixes. So nominal suffixes means they are applied after. So these swadi pratyayas are applied after the nouns. Verbal suffixes means they are applied after the dhatus, the verbal roots. So pat, tip, some rules are applied, and we get pathati, pathati, which means to study. He is studying. He is studying. Okay. Then let's take an example of this krit pratyaya. So this is the fifth chapter. This krit pratyaya. So there, I'll give you what happens there is we take a verbal root, for example, let's say kri, which means to do, dukri karane, and we apply one pratyay from there, which is ta. And so here, when we apply the krit pratyay, this is krit pratyay, after a verb, after a dhatu, then it becomes a noun. So it becomes this krita. And then we bring this krita in chapter 2, which we have started today, and then it becomes it takes different forms here, so it becomes a noun. It has become a noun here only, krita. Now we do the declensions here. So let's say I'll apply su, so it will be kritaha, kritau, kritah, kritam, kritena, ityadi. So now this krita is the word, the form we have got. Then, so basically in the third part here, the krit pratyay, don't get confused, not that confusing. In krit, by applying the krit suffixes, we make a verb into a noun, and that also acts as a verb. that also acts as a verb, and it's also a noun. So simultaneously they are the same. They are working as both noun and verb. The krit, after applying the krit pratyas to the verb. So like krita, and these words are very used, very much used. Mm, yeah. The last one, tadhita pratyas, they are applied after a noun, and we apply certain tadhita pratyaya. So tadhita pratyas are applied after a noun, and they basically modify the meaning of the noun and turn into a new noun. So from pritha we apply a certain tadhita pratyaya and we get uh, parth. So pritha is Kunti and pritha's putra, son, is called partha. So in that sense we applied a pratyaya and we got partha. So this is done in the last chapter. So tadhita is the last chapter, the seventh one. So this was an introduction to the two kinds of prakritis and four kinds of uh, pratyayas. Anything here? Anything to ask, to say? Okay. Then, so that was so prakriti comes first, pratyay comes second, and then we do the declension. So now we'll study the suffixes which we will use in this chapter. So those suffixes are called swadis. So if we see carefully, swa adi. So this we see a sandhi here, you know. So it is su which has turned into u has turned into va because of udvayam vaha sutra. So these pratyas they start with su. That's why it's su adi. So su adi turns into swadi. So these are the 21 pratyas here. Tatra namnaha suaujas am aushas tabhyambhis nebhyambhas nasibhyambhas nas os am ni os sup. So the Vishnu bhaktis, the pratyas applied after a nama are as follows. So there will be a chart here. Just coming. Yeah, this one. So Su. So the way to say it or to memorize it is Su aujas aushas tabhyambhis nebhyambhyas nasibhyambhyas nas os am ni os sup. So we have this 21, and the last one it's just the same as the prathama vibhaktis Su aujas, same. So 21 plus 3 24, including the sambodhana. So your prior homework or the main homework would be to memorize these 21 or 24 pratyas in the same order which I just narrated them in. Suaujas, Amoshas, Tabhyambhis, and so on. Um, because unless we memorize them, won't be will be very difficult to move ahead in doing the declensions. Okay, so please do memorize them. Uh, would be good if you can memorize them by tomorrow actually, because we'll be starting with the declensions. So it's very easy. Will just take 10 to 15 minutes, I believe. Suauja, Samosha, Stabhyambis, ityadi. Now, there will be one question in your mind if you are looking at this table carefully. You see some letters in brackets, right? Like in Su, we have this U in brackets. In Jas, we have the Jarama, and so on. So, why are we putting some letters in brackets? Why some letters are not in brackets? So what's the reason? So this sutra says Tatra. Tatra means in those 21 pratyas which have been told in the previous sutra. So this is actually a way of commentaries of the Shastras. They don't repeat every time the same thing. They will just give a reference. Okay, Tatra. Even in the commentaries, it happens. And I believe in the verses also in the scriptures. Something has been said previously. So so it will just say, okay, Tatra. Tasmin sthane, Tatra. Now, Tatra means in those 21 pratyas, Ja ta sha nga pa itaha ushcha so ngaserischa, which means among the Vishnu Bhaktis, the 21 which were described previously, the letters Ja, Ta, Sha, Nga, and Pa are indicatory letters. Indicatory letters means the letters which we saw in brackets. So they are called indicatory letters. The U of Su and the E of Nasi are also indicatory letters. So these indicatory letters are either called it in Sanskrit. This is not the English it. This is Sanskrit it, or they are called Anubandha. So an it, the Sanskrit it, indicatory letter, is so named because it goes. Okay. Now, when we do the declension, we add the Prakriti and the Pratyaya. So when we add the Pratyaya to the Prakriti, so while doing the declension, while combining them, so these letters in the brackets, they are removed, you know, while we are doing the declension. They are not actually used in the process of declension. So the question would be, so why are we, what is the use of those indicatory letters? Why are we saying them? It would have been better if they were not there, right? From the very beginning. So what's the point? So first of all, they are called either it or anubandha in Sanskrit. In English, we call them indicatory letter. So there are three basic purposes. First of all, the first purpose is sometimes an indicatory letter is used to aid pronunciation for the sake of ucharana, pronunciation. For example, if you look at the very first pratyaya, which is su. Now in su, we have the sa rama followed by u rama, which is an indicatory letter in brackets. So if we remove the u rama and we just have the sa, we can't pronounce it, right? Because we learned in the first chapter that kadinam ucharanam adhinaha, that all the consonants, the Vishnu janas, they depend on the Sarveshwaras for the sake of their pronunciation, right? So here, this is one example. We have added u, or we see the u rama just for the sake of pronunciation, so that we can pronounce the sa rama properly along with the help of u. Now, someone can say, oh, why u rama, why not e rama, or why not a rama? So the answer would be, if it was a or e or something else, then the same question would have been aroused that why a or e, why not u? So this is the Acharya's things, they have given u, so we have to accept u. Kartavyatmena upadesha vidhi, that's called the vidhi. So that's the first reason. For the sake of pronunciation, indicatory letters are added. The second reason is uh, sometimes to create a distinguishing characteristic, to basically distinguish, to make a difference between the two look alike pratyas. For example, if you see these two pratyas, I mean this jas and this one below it shas. So if you don't see the indicatory letters, they both are the same, us and us. So how will we differentiate between the two? So in order to distinguish between the two, they have put the indicator letters. So here they have put Ja and here Sh, Rama. So this is the second reason to distinguish, to make a difference. And the third reason is, sometimes it is the cause of the application of a rule or of a prohibition. Sometimes these indicatory letters become a cause of some application of rules. For example, if you see these four, this ne, nasi, nas, and ni. What is common in these four pratyas? This nga. This rama is common in these four pratyas. So now the sutra may say, some sutra may say that okay, if there is a pratyay falling ahead, a prakriti, which has rama as indicatory letter, then we will delete the Vishnu Sarga, or then we will do this, or then we will do that, right? So when such sutras come, they are taking help of the indicator letters in order to execute the operation, whatever vidhi. So this is the third reason of using the indicator letters to help um, the execute the operations, the grammatical operations. So these are the three reasons why the indicator letters are used. Number one, for the sake of pronunciation. Number two, to distinguish between the lookalike pratyas. Number three, in order to um, help, basically cause the sutras, cause the operations, the grammatical operations, become a nimitta, cause. So do memorize these 21 or 24 pratyas in sequence. Su, aujas, aushas, tabhyam this. By tomorrow, please. And if not by tomorrow, then by the next class for sure. Okay, so there are four kinds of nouns. Four kinds of nouns. Four kinds of namas. Nama equal to noun. As per the gender. So first in masculine gender, the pullinga. So the pullinga or the masculine gender in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam is called the Purushottama Linga. Purushottama Linga. The Strilinga, the feminine gender, is called the Lakshmi Linga. The Napunsaka Linga or the neuter gender is called the Brahma Linga. So Purushottama Linga is masculine, Lakshmi Linga is feminine, Brahma Linga is the neuter words, and the fourth kind is the Avyaya Shabdas. So Avyaya Shabdas are called Avyaya Shabdas, so there is no Avyaya Shabdas. The words which remain as they are always, they do not change their forms, like Cha, Iti, Tatha, and so on. Okay. Hmm.
I just have a quick question about the indicatory letters. Are they the same in Panini as well? Like the same ones that Jiva Goswami used?
Uh, we'll have to check. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't checked. Yeah, by the way, there is this beautiful website, uh, ashtadhyay.com. So, based on Panini, but very impressive. So, Sutra Patha, Dhatu Patha, Shabda Patha. So, we are beginning with the Shabdas. So, if you click on Shabda Patha, so, um, you know, it will show you words, or you can even search here words. And let's say we'll begin with Krishna Shabda, which is equal to Rama Shabda. It will show, the tables. And if you click on a single, then it will also show, the declension and the sutras along. This is Panini based. So yeah, very nice actually. So basically, the sutras in Panini are equivalent to the sutras in Harinama Vyakaranam. It's just the difference between the sangyas, the terms. Otherwise, it's the same. The concepts are the same. So we can relate with it if we have studied nicely. That's not an issue. So you can avail of this as we move ahead. It also has Amarkosha and many more things. Dhatu filters, Shabda filter, you can search for Shabdas and so on. Okay. Hmm. Okay, we'll stop here because you will need to memorize those 21 or 24 pratyas before we move ahead. Suojas, Amoshas, Tabhyampis, Nebhyampis, Nasibhyampis, Nas os Am, Ni os Su. And then for Sambodhana, Suojas again. So do memorize them and we'll begin the declension part from tomorrow on. So if there is anything to discuss, we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, I just wanted to quickly mention Chandrasekhar. He's really into making all sorts of really helpful charts,
I'm
and so
sorry.
he made. I said Chandrasekhar with us here. He's really into making charts. He teaches language, and he's anyway. So he has all sorts of really helpful charts. Also, like that might be helpful for memorizing these also.
Yeah. Why not? If he can, that would be nice.
Yeah, in the group.
You can make charts, and I think he's in the class, right?
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can kindly make charts, explore, and you can share in the group. Would be nice.
Yeah, sure. I'll share some things in the group.
So everyone will get benefit. Okay, so please do memorize the pratyas, and we'll begin tomorrow the declensions. One more thing before we end today. So we'll go on a good pace through this chapter um, because these are the declensions, and we'll try not to stop, like not to take any breaks in between, like no vacation, no chutti, no holiday. So we'll go on a pace because pace will keep us engaged actually, and be ready, to do the declensions as homeworks and all. In the class, I'll just show, but you'll have to practice the sutras, the declensions as a homework also. When we were studying, like if our Guruji would take like 10 to 15 minutes, to teach in a class, he will just take actually 10 to 15 minutes only in class to teach, not more than that. So the same thing which we learned in 10, 15 minutes in the school, the same thing would take us around like 2 hours or something, for us, for me to practice at my place, in my room, um, like my self-study time. So it takes time actually to practice on our own, and that is more beneficial, and that is actually required along with what is studied in the class. So please do have some time, uh, separate from the class timings, and please practice it. So that's one thing. So we'll stop here. We'll resume tomorrow, and please do memorize the pratyas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.